Today, we are going to be talking about the age old question, maybe the most important question that any nerd has ever asked: who would win in a battle, Marvel or DC? Let's debate. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Strong Collectors Podcast. I'm your host, Dakota, here with my co host, Jordan. And like I said, today we are talking about who would win in a battle, Marvel or DC. We may start out with some head to head matchups, and then we're going to finish off with an all out universe battle.
Universal War?
I think let's start out with so we're going to go character specific here, and not necessarily a who do you like more type of popularity contest.
There is even one caveat before we get into that. I would say though is this mainstream universe? Because then you can throw in this whole multiversal stuff, and that kind of throws a monkey wrench in everything.
You mean are we not allowed to bring Spider-Ham into the fight?
Well, I would be like Superman, but then there's Superman Earth 2 that's incredibly more powerful or something, and then this is base level versions of the characters, right?
Okay. Yeah, let's stick base level characters. Keep it simple. Maybe if there's enough debate and we need to come back and do a multiversal levels to this debate, we can come back and do that. But let's start out baseline here.
Right. Okay.
I think before we get into even the characters, if you're reading stories, who do you think has the overall better stories? If you're telling somebody, they're saying, I'm only going to read Marvel or I'm only going to read DC, where are you going to send them, Jordan?
I'm definitely more... That is tough, though, because DC has a bunch of great stories, but most of my favorite DC comics are just Batman. So he's kind of carrying the team for a lot of them. Yeah. But if I were to say, as far as, overall best storytelling, in my opinion, I'd probably be pointing people to Marvel. I've always kind of been more in the Marvel camp. Mm-hmm. I think DC can be a little more confusing, a little more convoluted. Yeah. And that's kind of why I even brought up the multiverse thing in the beginning, because they've always kind of been trying to make sense of the continuity through the multiverse, but sometimes it seems like that gets more convoluted, then they relaunch and rebrand, and there's kind of been so many starts and stops, where Marvel has some, but for the most part, the chronology of the world is pretty consistent, I would say, which is a little less just jarring. So on that level, but I'd also say...
You don't have the New 52, here's a reset of everything with everything you knew isn't necessarily what you knew, now it's this.
Right. Where Marvel will do relaunch new number one, but it's usually the same world, Right. But not to say they don't ever do those offshoot multiverse whatevers. Yeah. But the other thing I think that always seemed to be the conflict, was Marvel kind of starting those more flawed characters that are kind of more human, where Peter Parker has these struggles with life, but he's also a superhero, and the Fantastic Four bicker and fight, and the X-Men are not really well liked, but so to me the DC characters were always more larger than life in some ways, which I think is kind of a mistake to always at least in some movies, to make them super grounded and gritty all the time. But I think DC has some really amazing stories, but overall, I'm going to go with Marvel.
I would agree. I think if you told me I could only read Marvel comics or DC comics for the rest of my life, I would pick Marvel. But I do think that some of my favorite actual stories are from DC. If I had to rank a top 10, I think more of my top 10 would come from DC. But if we were ranking a top 100, then I think Marvel's going to win.
But how many of them were Batman?
I mean, you got Hush, you got Long Halloween. Long Halloween is my favorite DC story, I think, at all. But then, Hush is good. I really like Blackest Night, Brightest Day story. Yeah, there's a Flash. Can't remember what the thing is called, but
I guess that question too would change based on, are we saying like current comics, because I haven't really been super.
I'm not super current with any. My current comics is Civil War. Not the first time. That's what I still imagine is like, that's what's happening right now in the world.
Yeah, I've tried to. I don't know, man. I'm not super enthralled with the state of where Marvel is with comics for the most part nowadays, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily read any current stuff. I mean, with Marvel Unlimited, I'm much more caught up with like Daredevil, and like I finished Ironheart, and those were super good. Reading some of the new Ghost Rider stuff is, it's fine, but
Stone or Johnny Blaze comes back.
Okay, not that new, but like all new Ghost Rider and stuff like that. Like the Robbie Reyes stuff.
Oh, okay.
So
isn't that from like
whatever,
8 years
dude.
ago?
Whatever, dude.
More current stuff.
I don't like to read any of the current stuff because I'm gonna catch up to it, and then I've got to wait for the next one.
We're also poor, so we just use Marvel Unlimited.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not buying comics at the comic book store for Marvel or DC. Spawn. That's all I'm buying, and even that is. We'll see.
Might be dwindling.
But yeah, I think overall, if I had to only choose one to read forever, I would go to Marvel, because I agree. As much as I do like Green Lantern stories, I liked those for a long time, like post Brightest Day. Flash can be good, but really you're just reading Batman stories. And that's anyway. All right, let's get into some like actual head-to-head battles here. I think let's do some like popular mix, like, so let's go Batman, because obviously he's probably the top DC character. Let's put him against like Wolverine, probably one of the more popular Marvels. Who do you think's going to win that one?
I mean, the age-old question is, does Batman get prep time?
That's very true. They just bump in, like it's they both blip into the same location, and for some reason they have to do battle. They say your universe ends if you lose.
I mean, theoretically, for me, it's always like Wolverine. I mean, you almost have to be writing him in a way where he's not like just gonna kill you immediately. Because it's like he heals and he has indestructible claws that come out of his hands. Like,
right.
I guess Batman's only hope would maybe be to keep some distance, which I guess he could like zip line around and throw stuff, but eventually,
right,
it's gonna be like a how long can he evade type thing.
I think yeah, realistically, I agree. Batman with prep time might be able to take Wolverine.
Like he'd have some kind of
super magnet
agent that, oh yeah, some kind of like magnetic something that, yeah, right. But
so with no prep time though, I think Wolverine takes it. I feel like that might be like right out of the gates, maybe one of the more controversial battles we're gonna have, though. We think Batman would lose.
Are you thinking of like when they fused him with Marvel DC type thing with the Dark Claw? Is that
I wasn't, but I
oh, okay.
I would love, because
I think in those comics
figures.
He fought Captain America, which in the Marvel vs. DC actual comic, if I remember right.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And I think they like came to a draw or something, probably because
I mean, that's that
make anybody mad.
You can't ever have a true versus.
I will
comic
say, yeah, okay, yeah.
All right, let's go.
Pick out.
Go ahead.
A matchup. The Marvel vs. DC one I always thought was controversial. In my opinion, was the Hulk Superman battle.
Oh, okay.
Where Superman, if I remember right in those comics, pretty easily, maybe it was just for pacing. Do you remember this? Doesn't he just like they fight a little bit and then he kind of just punches Hulk out into a mountain and it's like, gotcha. And
I think so, yeah.
I think the Hulk would put up a little more.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's hard because I think like if you told me like Hulk versus Doomsday, I would probably say like Hulk is going to win that. But then if you think Doomsday versus Superman, Doomsday does kill Superman. So
Hulk could beat Doomsday
right,
theoretically.
that makes me. But if you're just telling me Superman versus Hulk, I would say Superman. So that logic doesn't make sense.
But then, well, that's the whole problem with it is like, it always is who's writing it, you know, because you could
Right.
be like, in World War Hulk, he's like pretty much unstoppable. But
Right.
other times he's been beaten up by Thor, you know, and it's
Right.
like, I don't know, that's the problem with those is you can always say, well, this special thing happened, or this is how I interpret the character.
True. And I guess the battle scene for this one might make more sense because like Hulk could just go total Hulk out, like he'll fight Superman, no concern for residual casualties. Superman may not go all
in a
out.
city or something. Superman
exactly.
More. Yeah, that's true.
It would be if we put this on like they're only on like a battle world that's no collateral damage. I don't know. I want to give it to Superman. I don't love Superman as a character, but I just feel like he's got so much more going for him. Like he's gonna be. I would think he's on a similar strength level, but then he's got laser eyes and freeze breath,
super speed,
and super speed.
Yeah, and I guess that's the question too: is it like a battle to the death? Because if it's a battle to the death, I don't know. I mean, because we've proved with Doomsday, Superman can be killed by brute force. It doesn't take kryptonite.
That's true.
So, I mean, if Hulk can regenerate,
good point.
I might go with Hulk. I mean, even if Superman takes him into space, like, he's not going to die, I don't think. I'm pretty sure he's been in space in the comic books, and he's fine.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And even if he crashed to Earth, he'd probably crash and regenerate and be like, where's Superman? So, that, to me, feels a little like the Wolverine Batman debate, where it's like, Superman could probably incapacitate Hulk much easier. But I don't know if he's going to be able to put the Hulk down for good, if that's what we're going for.
Yeah.
So if it's just like a KO, maybe I go with Superman. If it's a battle to the death, I'd have to go with Hulk.
Okay. I think that's a pretty fair judgment. I kind
of agree with your Doomsday thing. That makes sense too.
Yeah. I was thinking the matchup for Superman would be Sentry. Superman versus Sentry, who would win?
Okay.
Who do you think there?
Well, the old problem with that is Sentry has the power of 1,000,000 exploding suns, which Superman gets his energy from Earth's sun. So,
does that just make Superman more powerful?
That was what I'm saying in theory. But then you have the old thing of if I were the writer, I would probably say, well, he overloads Superman's solar cells and just burns him out, or something. I think he actually does that in a comic where All-Star Superman, I think he gets like too close to the sun and like starts dying because his like cells get overloaded. So I guess that'd be the question then: if Sentry could become I love how like nerdy, but like if he could become powerful enough, quick enough, you know what I'm saying? If he just like has a gradual like I'm warming up, Superman probably powers up, kills him. But if he could be like, boom, fries Superman's, I don't know.
Yeah.
On a molecular level.
Like, can Sentry hold him off long enough for his like cells to absorb enough power to like be damaging?
And then it's like, how's Sentry feeling that day? Because, you know, he's got his
if he's like
voided out, psychological issues. Or, does he go to the void? These are the questions.
I think that might be a more interesting battle than Hulk and Superman. Yeah. I mean, I
love the Sentry though. You know, I'm a sucker for the Sentry.
Right. Yeah, that's a good one. All right. Let's do who's Wonder Woman gonna take on?
I never liked that she fought Storm.
No, yeah, I think Wonder Woman would destroy Storm. Like that's an unfair fight in my opinion. I almost
feel like Wonder Woman versus Thor or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like kind of like an Amazon versus Norse god. Yeah.
Both gods. I mean,
what do you think?
I think I gotta go with Thor.
I do too. I was trying to think like how is this going to be a interesting fight, but yeah, I mean, no, Thor's got that one.
Quicksilver, Flash. I think Flash. I guess it depends on the Flash.
I would probably go Flash.
But
I
probably
mean,
Flash because
yeah.
he's got the Speed Force.
Yep.
Martian Manhunter Vision.
Oh, all right, all right. I like that one. I think. Because I mean, Martian Manhunter is kind of like he's not like Superman level strong, but he's strong though, right?
Yeah, I think again.
Who's right? Who's right?
But I think he's been portrayed as pretty darn strong, and I think more he's been portrayed as closer to Superman level than Vision has. That's why the Age of Ultron movie confused me that they made Vision so powerful because I think Martian Manhunter would win.
Okay.
But I guess Vision's got laser eyes, and Martian Manhunter doesn't like fire.
Oh, true.
But he could phase through it.
I was gonna say,
but can he phase through fire? Is he weakness to that?
He doesn't seem. It seems like whenever there's fire, Martian Manhunter just kind of freaks out and is in it. So, who's writing it? Are we writing him a little bit more? He can like take a second.
A little more resilience. Right. Wait a minute, I can just.
That's funny. Yeah. I think I would, because I agree. I do think in the comics, Vision would get beat, but the MCU does really soup Vision up to be like super crazy powerful. So yeah, I think a comic version of Vision would get beat by Martian Manhunter. So
Zatanna or Scarlet Witch?
Probably Scarlet Witch. Because she's had so many things where she like flips the whole universe with like no more mutants. Sure. Like she says a sentence and like everything changes, where I don't know if Zatanna has ever really turned the DC universe on its head like that. But also maybe she's just a little more stable and she's not like doing it. So
but then can Wanda control her powers?
Maybe like soup it up a little bit, and I would say Dr. Fate is a little bit more of a challenge than Zatanna would be. Like as far as like magic wielders go, but then maybe
right.
I mean, I guess then it depends. Like, are you going Scarlet Witch, or you want to do like a classic Dr. Fate, Doctor Strange? Who's winning that one, Jordan?
Ooh, I honestly don't know the upper limits of Dr. Fate's powers, to be quite honest.
That's fair.
I couldn't totally say on that one, just because part of me wants to go with Doctor Strange, but I probably haven't read enough Dr. Fate stories to like know if he has some crazy ace up his sleeve that it would just dominate.
That's a good point. I do think that Dr. Fate is a cooler looking character.
I'll give you that.
But I think, I guess I don't know enough, like other than from like the cartoons and stuff, and like the few stories that Dr. Fate ever shows up in, and he's never like a huge role in those. So, all right, fine. Good point. We don't have enough information on that. Tell us in the comments if you've read enough of each of these characters, who's going to win, Dr. Fate or Doctor Strange? I feel like from the cartoons, he's like a Lord of Order, so like maybe there's like some workaround there where Dr. Fate can kind of, or Doctor Strange can use that against Dr. Fate. Let's switch it up and go some villains. Who do you have with Thanos versus Darkseid?
Thanos have the Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh, no.
Probably Darkseid, I think.
And if Thanos had the Infinity Gauntlet, you would say Thanos?
But I guess Thanos was defeated by, Earth's heroes when he had the Infinity Gauntlet.
Well, but heroes are always going to win. That's not necessarily a...
Like raw strength?
Yeah,
Darkseid probably got his Omega beams are pretty powerful.
Right.
Like, I don't think Thanos in and of himself has an ability like that, like a fantastic power. He would just be, like, really strong, I think. Whereas
It'd be kind of interesting, like if you go, like, outside of themselves, and it's, like, you've kind of got... Well, I mean, I guess I don't know the comics as well, but, like, if comic Thanos has kind of the, like, Leviathans and the, like, soldiers going at, like, Darkseid and Apocalypse with the parademons.
Like a war.
Right. I think that would maybe make it a little bit more interesting.
I agree.
Because I don't think parademons are necessarily like top tier henchmen.
No.
So then I guess it would depend if you're like adding in like Calabac and Granny Goodness versus like Cull Obsidian and
Right. Like an
so
entourage battle.
right.
They got to bring their resources with them. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But it just seems to me, yeah, I think, again, I maybe need to do a little more dark side research because I've probably read more Thanos-centric stories. But in the stories I've read, I don't know, though. He is pretty powerful. But he's also...
I mean, Doctor Doom totally took him out
That's true.
without even hardly trying, so...
But he had the... what didn't he have the powers of... Wasn't it Beyond?
Yeah, true.
It was... I don't know. Hard to say. If I had Doctor Doom versus Darkseid, I'd probably go Doctor Doom.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's a better matchup.
That'd be a hot take, but I think Doctor Doom trumps pretty much anybody. If he's being written well. I mean, if you're writing them like you said, if it's heroes have to win, Doctor Doom always does something stupid that defeats himself, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think I might agree with you there. Because he's got kind of the magic part. He's got his own like power set, time travel,
science, especially if he has prep time.
That's true.
Doctor Doom versus Batman, both with prep time.
I'd go Doctor. You got to go Doctor Doom.
Yeah,
there's no way. Right. What is Batman gonna do?
He's got some kind of anti-magic gadget that. What's he gonna do?
Anti-magic battering.
He's gonna use his cell phone and call Superman.
Yeah. Clark. Superman versus Doctor Doom.
Ooh, I feel like Doctor Doom would synthesize some kind of magical like kryptonite spell. Oh, isn't Superman supposed to be weakness to magic though? So
yep, you're right.
Instantly out.
Double whammy.
Out of the running. Sorry. Green Arrow or Hawkeye?
It's probably Hawkeye. I mean, I feel like there's so many stories where Hawkeye's just like
does more.
Like he'll like kill everybody with his fingernails.
That'd be Ultimate Hawkeye though.
Yeah, Hawkeye true. All right, fine. The regular Hawkeye.
That one is more hardcore. I mean, that one was like a CIA operative that was kind of like intense. Whereas I'm pretty sure the mainstream, he's just like used to working at circus and he got real good at shooting arrows.
Okay, so maybe that is a better matchup there than I gave Hawkeye a little too much credit with the alternate version of him.
But I guess again, it's which version. Are they the versions from like the 70s where they've got an arrow for every situation, or is it more like?
Right.
And are they out for blood? I don't know. I've seen comics where Green Arrow, like, it's kind of grittier in, like, the 80s, the longbow hunters, where he's, like, killing people with his arrows, which is a little more intense. I don't know if I've ever seen Hawkeye do that.
That's true. All right. So, are you giving it to Green Arrow?
I might go with Green Arrow.
Okay. I feel like I might stick with Hawkeye, but I think you might be right where Green Arrow might be a little bit more hardcore if we're going the classic regular timeline versions.
I'm trying to think who could fight Green Lantern from Marvel.
I was trying to think of that too.
Like an equivalent. There's not really a direct analog, I don't think.
I mean, I'm sure there is. It's just kind of one of those
that comes to my mind as like, oh, this is obviously the
like an Avenger or something like that. Right. Yeah. Yeah. How about for Captain America? Captain America hasn't fought anybody yet. I mean, Batman doesn't have the powers, or Iron Man. Captain America or Iron Man. Who are they going up against? Like a Blue Beetle type of thing? Like the newer Jaime Reyes? Because he's very much like a Iron Man-esque, like, especially like the nanosuit where he can like create cannons out of his arm.
Hero versus a villain, or is it hero versus hero? Still?
No,
what about like a Batman versus, or a Captain America versus like a Deathstroke?
Oh, okay, I like that.
Or like a Ra's al Ghul type, somebody who's a little more. I'd say Deathstroke would be more appropriate, but Maybe they fought in some crossover, but that one would be cool to me.
Yeah, I mean, still kind of leaving Captain America in the dust, but like replace him with Taskmaster, and that's very equivalent to your Deathstroke.
It's true.
And I feel like he's never written that way, but I feel like Taskmaster would win.
Should be able to just dominate.
He should, right? Because if he can like replicate anybody's fighting style, he's going to be able to mimic Deathstroke. Plus everyone else he's ever fought.
Yeah, I don't know how like whoever thought of Taskmaster probably didn't like realize the application of his power, because it's like he should be almost like unstoppable. I mean, at least in combat. I feel like every time I see him though, he's kind of just like a glorified henchman, like lackey. You know, like he's like he's a boss, but he's like middle boss. He's not like
right.
And he's that's I love. Did you ever read? Remember Identity Crisis? Did you read that one yet?
I think so. Yeah.
That one where Deathstroke just like decimates the Justice League. He like just knows all the weaknesses. I thought that was really cool. So
yeah.
I don't know. I'd like to see Deathstroke fight a lot of people.
I would too.
Deathstroke or Deadpool, because they're supposed to be like
there you go
analogs.
I mean, you'd probably have to go with Deadpool because he's got the healing factor.
Doesn't Deathstroke have like a minimal healing factor though?
Kind of healing factor? Not that I remember. Maybe in a story or something, but I don't remember that being the case.
Yeah, it might be true.
But yeah, no, I think Deadpool would have to win that one. Because I think if he didn't have the healing factor, he would definitely not win. But
Batman
with the healing factor,
Black Panther,
probably Batman.
Batman's got like the tech and tactical, but Panther also has powers.
Does he ever have the like the MCU vibranium suit type thing, or is that's not really in the comics?
I've never really read a I'm sure like since then they've probably made comics like that, but to my understanding of Black Panther, he's normally just hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Guy.
I think if that was the case, then yeah, I'd probably go Batman. But I mean, if you had the vibranium suit, then that's probably a little bit more of a problem for Batman.
I think who I'd want Spider-Man to fight.
Good point. I feel like was he like fighting Robin or something in the comics?
It was Ben Reilly, I think, at the time, and he fought Superboy.
Okay, because I know they got they merged.
Yeah, to me that one seemed kind of like.
Yeah. Iron Man still hasn't gone up against anybody.
Yeah, who's he gonna fight? Steel?
That makes sense. I'd probably give that to Iron Man, though.
Yeah. I was gonna say like Cyborg or something, but he'd have to be pretty souped up.
True. I think Cyborg would make some sense there, but and it seems like they've definitely upgraded Cyborg from like when he was in the Teen Titans, and now he's like a main stake Justice League member.
Yeah, he's a little more powerful.
Yeah.
But then we have then do we get into like the cosmic beings?
I was kind of thinking like Galactus versus I don't know who.
I was going to say the Spectre versus like the Beyonder or something, or but Galactus versus who's like the Spectre?
I don't know if I know enough cosmic DC characters.
I mean, they have a lot like the Monitor or Anti-Monitor. Those guys are pretty strong.
True.
I think Anti-Monitor is supposed to be pretty powerful. I'm reading those Crisis on Infinite Earths, which they kind of have a lot of those like crazy cosmic characters showing up, which I almost feel like, I mean, Marvel does have cosmic, obviously Silver Surfer, Heralds, all that kind of stuff. But I almost feel like DC comes in pretty heavy with the cosmic stuff. Because they've got the new gods and all that stuff. Because, that's the other thing. If we're switching to, like, universe versus universe, you got to consider probably the cosmic pantheon as well.
Mm-hmm. Let's go team versus team.
Okay.
So let's go X-Men versus like something other than Justice League. Like I feel like Justice League and Avengers would go together, but who's X-Men going to go up against? Is that more of like a Teen Titans type of like if you're going like X-Men First Class?
Roasted.
Like if it was like your original founding X-Men of like as kids versus like the kids of the Teen Titans. Right. Okay.
That'd be a little more accurate.
Mm-hmm. Versus like I'm trying to like I'd probably just go whoever's on the like Teen Titans cartoon Teen Titans, honestly. But maybe that's getting into like universes.
Right. Yeah, I mean if you had like, Nightwing, Starfire, Robin, Cyborg,
I feel like,
what's the
other
I feel like
ones? Starfire and Raven
Troy,
would do some damage.
Jericho.
Yeah.
I feel like in that situation, I almost think Teen Titans take it. But if it's like, if you got the all-time X-Men,
right?
You got the A-Team. I almost feel like they'd be better. I don't know. X-Men versus. Yeah, I'd like to see them fight in DC. Evil Team.
I was thinking maybe like doing like Sinister Six versus the Legion of Supervillains or what are they? But then like you'd have like a Lex Luthor, Black Manta, Sinestro, Grodd, Cheetah,
Giant Lady.
Yeah.
Oh, here's the real one. You want me to give you a real banger?
Give me the real one, Jordan.
Alfred versus Jarvis.
Oh, Alfred.
Because I'm pretty sure Jarvis technically also has like a MI6 background.
I think you're right. But like, how do you work with Batman and you're not, you know? Not.
But how do you work with the Avenger? I mean, come on. He's got to be like...
True.
You got to know some stuff.
He's got some hidden abilities. Not
but then Alfred, at least to me, it seems like more stories feature Alfred as like an asset that actually helps Batman and like does stuff.
Yeah.
Because I think even in modern comics, I don't even know if Jarvis is around anymore. I feel like they integrated the whole like AI thing from
the MCU.
Like I feel like Jarvis, I don't know. Jarvis might be dead. I'm not sure the last time. Even like in Civil War, I don't even remember Jarvis being around. I feel like he probably should have been.
He was after he had to have been around in Civil War because in Secret Invasion he was a Skrull.
That makes sense.
So maybe he just never came back. Skrulls took him and he never returned because he definitely didn't get. No, yeah, he did get off the ship. So I don't know. Yeah,
I'd also go with Alfred though. I think.
Yeah, that's a fun matchup though. I like the Butler battle.
Battle of the Butlers.
All right, Avengers versus Justice League. Going like kind of your classic like. Let's go like founding Avengers. So Iron Man, Giant Man, Wasp, Thor. I put Captain America in there too. He's founding enough. And then, are you adding Hulk in there? Because technically he kind of was an Avenger, but then he like left day one.
Out.
Right.
Dipped out immediately.
We'll leave him in there. We'll leave him in there because you're gonna have Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Flash, Aquaman, and we'll put Martian Manhunter in there too.
Batman in there?
Oh yeah, Batman too. Because I'm thinking.
And we're not doing like first appearance, literally like he's got like the gold suit and he's like Iron Man is like whatever suit.
Yeah, they're a little more souped up and like more modern-ish of the characters that they founded. Because I don't think necessarily like the ones that are just kind of like they're going to get taken out right away. Like I don't think Wasp and Giant Man are going to do much damage at all.
I don't know. I mean, again, depends on who's writing, you know.
You think Wasp is going to fly up Superman's butt?
I don't know. Going in Superman's ear and zap his brain or something? I don't know.
Okay. All right. Maybe they're going to do more damage than I'm giving them credit for.
Again, though, that's the whole thing is like, are we out for blood? Because if it's like duel to the death, I don't know. I don't think you can undervalue Captain America as the tactician from the comics.
True. I think you can't undervalue Aquaman enough, in my opinion. I think he's getting taken out first. Like, maybe he's a little strong, but he's not stronger than Thor or Hulk. And even still, I think Iron Man could put a hole in him. So,
yeah, I mean,
but then you've got, I think, Green Lantern, Flash, and Superman would all do some damage.
It's true. We don't really have a speedster on the I mean, unless we threw in Quicksilver somehow, but if he's not part of the team, even if he was part of the team, he'd probably get beat by Flash. So,
yep.
But then you got Hulk and Thor.
Hulk.
And we said Hulk would probably beat Superman and Thor would beat Wonder Woman.
Right.
If we're going by that logic, that's two of the biggest players off the board. But then you got Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
I feel like Captain America.
But he's not gonna
take out. But then if Iron Man goes right away, I'm just gonna incinerate Martian Manhunter, who apparently can't phase through fire.
Fire. He doesn't even need to use his repulsors.
There's a great comic. I don't know if you ever read The New Frontier by DC. Remember where he's like Batman? He's like, I need a $1 billion slab of rock for the one from Metropolis, but for you, all I need is a penny and a book of matches. You're like, oh.
That is really good. I do love that comic.
Just start a small fire. Doesn't he have like an Oreo addiction in the comics too?
Yeah, he does. The Martian Manhunter is so goofy.
It'd almost be fun to do like a parody comic of that. Like, how is he? Like, he could be so powerful, but he's just held back by the dumbest things.
He's in therapy, just talking to his therapist. Like, I could be on Superman's level if it wasn't for fire and Oreos.
Is it really about the Oreos? I don't.
That's funny. All right.
So I feel like you could make pretty good arguments for either team in that context. I mean, especially if it's like pick 5 Avengers, pick 5 Justice Leaguers.
Mm-hmm.
I even think that would be tough, though, because I think they both have some heavy hitters that you could put on.
All right, you got to pick one now, Jordan. Stake your flag. Where's it going? Avengers, Justice League.
Oh, gosh. My heart... for sure wants to say Avengers and Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I'm partial to Marvel. I'm going to go with Avengers. Doing it.
Yep.
I agree. The only thing I'm stuck on the Superman factor. Because that's it's Superman.
Right. But like you said, if we have Hulk beating Superman.
Yeah.
And Hulk is going to get help from Thor. I don't see Superman really. I mean, Superman could definitely do some damage and take out the rest of the Avengers. But then when it gets down to them, then that's going to be a problem. And he's really the only one that's going to put up a fight against Hulk and Thor. Maybe Green Lantern can do something, but Hulk is going to smash through any of his constructs. Batman, I mean, hopefully Superman can buy Batman some time to have some preparation. And that's going to be the only saving grace.
He just gets in his Batmobile and goes back to his cave. Give me 3 hours.
So, if Superman can hold him off for that long, maybe Batman would have a chance of being useful. But if it's just go, Thor throws his hammer through Batman, well, then there you go. Avengers just won. So, but maybe Flash could pick him up and run him away because nobody's going to be able to catch up to Flash. So,
I'm just imagining this battle being Invincible style, just completely just over the top gore.
Yeah.
Just imagining all the things you could do with that if they like actually were like, we're not going to hold back and we're just going to try to kill each other.
Yeah. All right, let's go. Do we just go for the big one now? Oh, universe versus universe. I think let's keep out the like the outliers like Galactus,
like Eternity, or
right.
All these like planet. Could it be like Planet Earth versus Planet Earth?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Because then you don't have like the whole Green Lantern Corps. That's like you could have all of them come in.
Exactly.
Because if it's Marvel, then you're like, well, you got the Kree Empire and the Skrull Empire, you know, all these like, and the Shi'ar, you know, that might.
Okay. Right. You gotta be an Earth-based hero versus Earth-based hero.
I almost feel like DC has way more like magic stuff going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like you said, they're all kind of like that larger than life. Like, how do you bring them down to like a person because they're so powerful? Like, you know, your Supermans and stuff like that. And I think they do have more characters in that realm.
Right. That world. If it's world to world, I'd almost go DC. Something tells me. That's what my gut says right away. But
yeah, because I mean, if you've got your Superman, you've got kind of his offshoots of like Supergirl and Superboy.
We didn't even talk about
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Should have had him.
But then if you've got, but like, there's not really like, if you're going to include like a Jane Foster Thor, I guess, but there's not really like another Thor.
Right.
And then if you've got Hulk, like, yeah, there's
if you don't have Asgard, I mean, because then that would be like technically not Earth, because then you get a whole bunch of gods. So I think that does even it out, because then you don't get like Apocalypse and all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Do you get like all the Flashes? You get like Flash, Wally West, you know,
probably.
Barry Allen.
Yeah.
You got all the Speed Forcers. That's
hard to contend with, because like even like if you go like offshoot like down the X-Men roster, like you'll have like Juggernaut and Colossus. Like Magneto could do some damage, but I don't see there being as big of like crazy powerhouses.
But then do you get like Nick Fury and all of S.H.I.E.L.D. though?
I feel like you would get Nick Fury and all of S.H.I.E.L.D. because they're Earth-based. That makes sense. And there's not really an equivalent to that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, does DC... I mean, they've got, like... I feel like they've always had, like, government organizations, but it's not, like, S.H.I.E.L.D.
Like, you get, like... Yeah. Amanda Waller and, like, the Suicide Squad folks. But none of them are going to really contend. Like, Harley Quinn's not coming up against anybody. So... Yeah, I think overall you'd have to give it to DC.
You know what we're going to have to do now, though?
What?
Just dump out our toy buckets and figure out who's going.
I think if we were going our toy buckets, Marvel would absolutely destroy our DC toys. Because we've got way more Marvel Legends than we do, like, DC Multiverse.
I'm just more thinking now I want to play out these scenarios, you know?
Next time we come on the show, you're going to have your displays of, like, all Marvel on one side, DC, and they're getting ready to
pop
face
some
off.
Heads off, get some blood, can of beans, or face or something.
That's fun, we should do that. But then we don't really have... Like, I really want to do that, but then, like, when am I going to have my DC Multiverse fighting my Marvel Legends? It's not going to scale right. And then I'm going to do
they're going to look like giants.
And then am I going to have my DC UCs fighting Marvel Legends? Because then it's like, I'm going kind of crappy articulation versus better.
Maybe that's why Todd does them 7-inch, to be like, you can't portray these guys getting beaten by Legends because they're bigger.
That's funny. That would be... I would love if that was like a boardroom talk. Like, people want to have their Marvel... No, they can't have it because we could lose that fight.
So mine are going to be 1 inch taller.
Yep. All right. I think overall I'm going DC wins the universe fight.
I think so too. But most matchups, I feel like I was leaning towards Marvel.
I think so too.
But I would love to hear, what people...
You'd kind of have to like pick out which ones are going to be like your biggest threats. And I think that we would have enough people that could match from DC the bigger threats like Hulk. Right. There would be enough to overwhelm him and take him down. Whereas I don't think there's enough of that to do the reverse.
That's true.
So, I don't know. I'm curious to know, like, kind of what everybody thinks of each matchup, because I'm sure, like, you know, there's arguments to be made. And like you said, it really depends on who's writing the story.
Right.
Because any story we actually get is always going to end in a tie, or, like, no one's ever going to, like, win or lose because you can't make one company
decimate the other universe.
Exactly. Make it so, like, have Marvel and DC do like a fan vote. Whoever gets the most votes, like, they get to win and destroy the other company, and the other company's done. Like, Marvel kills DC, and like DC's done. No more books. It's over. It ended in 2023 when Marvel destroyed them.
You had your chance. Then what would be left of the Marvel universe?
That would be interesting. Again, it's all dreaming, and I think it would be harder for people, like, if you took your favorite character and was like, oh, would this fight versus this person? It's like, you're probably going to lean towards your favorite character because you're like, no. Like, no, Batman with prep time could beat the Hulk. Like, okay. Actually, I could see that. I do. Is there anybody that Batman could beat? But if you threw
Batman into a Hulk room with Hulk, it'd be like,
right,
Batman's dead. Quite simply.
For sure.
Dead. I mean,
yes.
Bane broke his back, for crying out loud.
And Hulk would destroy Bane. So, yeah, I don't know. I want to know kind of what because I'm sure we forgot a lot of characters here that would have been really cool mashups, like, to fight.
Yeah, I want to add that caveat. By no means is this supposed to be like a comprehensive, like,
right.
We have researched every character. It's just kind of like what I think generally what would come to mind when you think of these characters. Like, I think you could nerd out and go into rabbit holes and, like, be like, well, what about
Dr. Psycho versus about Mephisto Professor or
X? You know, like,
yeah.
There's always, like, you can always one up a character.
Mm-hmm.
I feel.
Yeah.
But well, that was fun.
Yeah. No, I agree. I want to know what you guys think of the matchups we had. Who do we? Yeah, Jordan, what's up?
Aunt May versus Ma Kent.
Ooh. All right. Get the butlers fighting and the old ladies.
Elderly mother figures.
You're really going for like a nursing home brawl here with your ideas.
Thomas Wayne versus Uncle Ben.
Oh, yeah. Getting street level with it. I like it. I think Thomas Wayne would win.
Wasn't Uncle Ben in, like, World War II or something, though?
Oh, maybe he was. I don't know. I just feel like if you're that rich, you've had enough time to, like, you know, you've got time to, like, work out and do some martial arts, self-defense.
Yeah,
not enough to, like,
people do.
Stop a gunman. I don't know. If I was rich, I guess I would do some stuff like that.
Don't all rich people go to the Himalayas and learn kung fu?
True. That's just Bruce Wayne. Yeah. Let us know what matchups we forgot. Who's actually going to win some of these fights? What did we forget about? Like, share, subscribe. Stay strong.